The day I died, I had no idea I would come back to this world. The first moments after my death were filled with absolute stillness, as if space itself shattered into a million fragments. I felt a power beyond anything I had ever known. But what I will never forget is what I saw, what I witnessed, and especially what Jesus revealed to me. These things will shock you, because they are not only about death but also a profound insight into the modern world, especially Hollywood, and how this place mocks God in ways I never imagined. The story of my near-death experience. I am Johnny, an ordinary person with the same worries and concerns as anyone else. But when an unexpected event happened, a car accident, a sudden pain, I crossed into a world I never thought existed. When I died, I didn't feel fear. There was only a peaceful sensation, as if I was passing through another door, a place where time no longer existed, where the line between life and death blurred. In that moment, I met Jesus. He wasn't just a vague, distant figure but a being of immense power and boundless love. He led me through visions of scenes I had never imagined. And as we moved, he shared with me secrets, truths, and revelations I will never forget. What Jesus showed me about Hollywood. One of the most astonishing things I saw was what Jesus showed me about Hollywood. I watched movies, TV shows, and advertisements, things I thought harmless, but I realized they held deeper truths I had never recognized before. Hollywood is not just an entertainment industry. It has become a powerful tool to mock and diminish the importance of God. I saw the characters, the heroes we idolize, and I understood how they often embody traits that go directly against the values Jesus teaches. I witnessed how the world mocks holiness and righteousness, and it hurt me deeply because I knew that these messages were influencing millions of people around the globe. The awakening and Jesus message. But Jesus didn't just show me Hollywood's corruption. He also taught me the need to awaken, to return to higher spiritual values. You must share what you've seen and understood. Jesus told me, the world needs a light, and you are that light. Those words were like a wake-up call to my soul. I came back with a new mission, a new purpose in life, not just to live for myself but to awaken others, especially those who are drawn into the temptations of this world. A call to action. The world needs light. I returned from death, and I couldn't stay silent. What I saw, what I heard, it was all a warning, and I needed to share it with all of you. Hollywood may mock God, but we should never forget that God is always here, always watching, and always ready to help us return to the righteous path. If you're searching for the truth, if you feel lost in a world full of lies, remember that there is a real light, and that light is Jesus. Open your heart to him, and let him lead you just as he led me through the darkness of this world. The deeper message, the impact of media on faith. What I saw in Hollywood wasn't just about the movies. It was about the subtle ways in which the media, the entertainment industry, and even mainstream culture have gradually led society to turn away from God's teachings. The portrayal of good and evil in films has become distorted, where sin is glamorized and virtue is mocked. Characters that embody darkness are celebrated, while those who reflect Christ-like qualities are often ridiculed or dismissed. I realized that Hollywood, as a beacon of popular culture, has an immense influence on shaping people's views and attitudes. The images we consume, the stories we see, the heroes we follow, they all shape our minds, hearts, and ultimately, our souls. Jesus made it clear that these portrayals are not neutral. They are shaping our spiritual well-being in ways we often fail to see. Jesus' plea for change. As Jesus spoke to me, he revealed not only the dangers of Hollywood's influence, but also how important it is for each of us to reclaim our faith in a world that's lost its way. You must help them understand, he said. Tell them that there is hope, that they can turn back to me. The world may mock, but my love is stronger than their mockery. My grace can heal the wounds they've caused. These words stayed with me long after my experience. They echoed in my mind as a mission, one that I could not ignore. It was not just a matter of telling people about what I had seen, but of urging them to examine their own hearts and what they are allowing to shape them. Living the message, sharing the truth. When I returned to life, I was a changed person. I knew I couldn't simply go back to my old way of living. I couldn't keep my experience to myself. The world needs to hear this message. I began speaking to anyone who would listen, sharing my testimony and the truth I had witnessed through my encounter with Jesus. I told people about the darkness that Hollywood is pushing into our hearts, and how we must stand firm in our faith. But even as I spoke, I realized something important. The world is full of distractions, and many are so absorbed in their lives, in the entertainment they consume, that they fail to see the larger spiritual battle unfolding before them. But I know now, with certainty, that it is time for a change. The world may mock God, but we don't have to. We can choose to stand as lights in the darkness, to live by the truth of Jesus and follow the path He set before us. A final call, reclaiming our faith. If you are reading this, I want you to understand that you have a choice. You can continue down the path of apathy, allowing Hollywood and the world's mocking of God to shape you, or you can choose to stand up and reclaim the light that is within you. Jesus is calling all of us back to Him. No matter how dark the world becomes, His light can never be extinguished. I have seen the truth, and now I share it with you. There is more to life than the distractions and temptations this world offers. There is a purpose, a calling, and a love that transcends all things. And that love is the love of Jesus Christ. Will you follow it? The power of media and the spiritual awakening. Hollywood's portrayal of good and evil is one of the most subtle and dangerous weapons used to shape society's values. It's not just the movies we watch, but the messages embedded in them, the idea that sin is glamorous, that the righteous are fools, that greed and pride are to be admired. These subtle but powerful lies infiltrate our hearts and minds, pulling us away from the truth of God. Jesus had shown me that the media, with all its glitz and glamour, is often the vehicle through which the enemy spreads deceit. I saw how certain movies glorified rebellion against God, how TV shows painted immoral behavior as normal, and how the idea of faith was often mocked or trivialized. It was as if the world had forgotten what true righteousness looked like. But in my vision, Jesus reminded me that this battle is not one of flesh and blood, but a spiritual battle for the souls of mankind. The media, for all its power, cannot take away the truth of who God is, cannot erase His love, His justice, or His mercy. The light of Christ shines brighter than any darkness Hollywood or the world can produce. The call for a new kind of media. Jesus' message was clear. We need a new kind of media. A media that doesn't just entertain but uplifts. A media that doesn't glorify sin but celebrates virtue. A media that speaks the truth, even when it's unpopular. I realized that this was my mission, to not only warn others but to create new content that reflects the love, light, and truth of Christ. I began to explore ways I could contribute to this vision. It wasn't just about preaching. It was about creating something that would speak to the hearts of those who had been lost in the lies of the world. Whether it was through writing, videos, or other forms of media, I knew that my calling was to bring the light of Christ into the darkness, a world in need of truth. As I continue my journey, I am reminded daily that the world is in desperate need of the truth. People are searching, but they are often looking in the wrong places. The allure of fame, wealth, and success in Hollywood often blinds them to the emptiness that lies beneath. It's easy to be swept up in the entertainment, in the glitter and glamour, but in the end, none of it brings lasting fulfillment. The truth is that the only way to true peace and joy is through Jesus. I've seen the difference in my own life. Before my near-death experience, I lived much like everyone else, distracted, focused on success, seeking validation from the world. But when I encountered Christ, everything changed. I was no longer seeking the approval of Hollywood or anyone else. I found my worth in God alone. The testimony spreads. Soon, the testimony of what I had experienced began to spread. More people came to hear my story, some skeptical, some eager to know more. And in each conversation, I could see a shift. I could see eyes opening, hearts softening, and lives changing. I realized that this is what I was called to do, to be a vessel for the truth of Jesus, to be a living testimony of his power to transform lives. In every encounter, I shared not only my story but the story of Jesus, the story of his love, his sacrifice, and his victory over death. I shared how he had shown me the truth, how he had opened my eyes to the darkness of this world, and how he had given me a new purpose, standing strong in faith. As the world continues to mock God and the media continues to glorify sin, we, as believers, must stand firm in our faith. The world may not understand us, but we are not here to please the world. We are here to serve God, to follow his commands, and to spread his truth. I know the road ahead will not be easy. I know there will be challenges, opposition, and even persecution, but I also know that the truth is worth fighting for. Jesus has already won the ultimate victory over sin and death, and we, as his followers, are called to share that victory with the world. So I ask you, dear reader, what will you do with this truth? Will you continue down the path of least resistance, allowing the world's lies to shape your life? Or will you stand in the light of Christ, speaking his truth, living his truth, and sharing his love with those around you? The final message. Jesus' final message to me was simple but profound. Tell them I am coming soon. Tell them to prepare their hearts, to seek the truth, and to follow me. These words resonate in my heart every day. I don't know when he will return, but I know that his coming is nearer than ever. The world is in turmoil, and the need for truth has never been greater. My mission is clear: to share the truth of Jesus with as many people as I can, to help them see the light in a world that is increasingly dark. And now, I pass this message on to you. If you haven't already, open your heart to Jesus. Let his light shine through you, and stand firm in your faith. Together, we can make a difference. Together, we can bring hope to a world that desperately needs it.